Okay, now to an update on the I-5 bridge project between Portland and Vancouver. It has been a month of ups and downs for the Interstate Bridge Replacement project, or IBR. It got a big win when the U.S. Coast Guard agreed to allow a fixed span design, which means no more waiting for bridge lifts. But that came just days after a newly released 98-page document revealed the cost of the project may be now as high as $13.6 billion. And right now, only $5.5 billion in funding is lined up. The new cost estimates that's raising eyebrows came out through a public records request, a fact which is not sitting well with members of the Oregon Transportation Commission who grilled IBR leaders last week.
We're not getting our information from you. We're getting it from the Oregon Journalism Project. We're getting it from the Seattle Times. We're getting it from the City Observatory, and it shouldn't be that way.
If those numbers are correct, we can't build this project. There's no way you're going to get the money to do it at this point.
Okay, for its part, the bridge team continues to say they didn't release the document themselves because it was a start of the cost estimate process, not the end of it, and the final numbers still are not ready.
It was a building block, a basis of estimate document that contained a table of a projected range of cost loaded and inflated numbers. That was a projected but not calculated or deeply analyzed number. So that was an early step in the cost estimate validation process.
But commissioners argued that hard conversations need to start happening because, like it or not, the numbers are out there.
I know you're uncomfortable having it be released. I can tell you're uncomfortable even having a conversation about it, but we should be talking about it because it's the best document we have at the moment. The narrative now is so negative that you guys could put the bridge in jeopardy simply because you're not willing to have these conversations until the numbers are perfect.
Remember, this isn't just a Columbia River Bridge replacement. There's a light rail extension to Vancouver, upgrades or rebuilds of every interchange from Victory Boulevard to SR 500, and 3 new bridges to Hayden Island from the Oregon side. And again, with less than half of the project funding actually lined up so far, could we be looking at another failed Columbia River crossing debacle? Let's start by looking at where things are expected to go from here. IBR wants to start construction this year without full funding, noting the main bridge and approach ramps would be among the first things to be built. It sounds like the unspoken hope here is that the current funding will be enough to at least get those 2 critical pieces done. IBR's plan would then need to find more money somewhere to build the rest of the project, but some of the commissioners sounded like they might be looking for, dare we say, an off-ramp.
What are the packages that are absolutely necessary versus and kind of timing on that, and what's the cost of that? I think you got to get down to that piece.
So I'd like to hear what the plan is. Do we stop at 6? Does it have to go to 13? What happens if we get the 6 spent? Can we stop?
Our transportation expert took a closer look at the new cost estimate that we got our hands on to try and answer a simple question. How did the price tag go from around $6 billion to nearly $14 billion? The document points to a few reasons, including an enormous increase in risk and uncertainty, although direct construction costs have definitely gone up too. Another big piece is the timeline. Construction was previously supposed to wrap up in 2036. But the new document pushes that to 2045, so that's another 8 years of inflation and administrative costs. There was also a design change. The $6 billion estimate a few years ago was based on 1 bridge with 2 decks, but that was later ruled out as impractical. The new document uses a more expensive design for twin bridges. The document includes a price list for each of the project's 29 construction packages. The bridge and approach ramps are definitely the most expensive together, making up about 40% of that more than $13 billion cost. So with $5.5 billion lined up, is that enough money to at least build the main bridge and approach ramps? The document includes a tentative construction schedule, so we can sort of map this out. But take this all with a grain of salt, as numbers could change as the financial picture becomes more clear. The main bridge construction would start in 2028, followed by several other pieces relating to light rail and freeway upgrades. If you add up the listed prices for those pieces, you get around $4.3 billion. That leaves $1.2 billion left over at most. Next would be the approach ramp work, which would start in late 2030. That package costs $2.6 billion, so it's not looking great. There is a partial lifeline, though. The project is still in the running for one more federal grant that could add another $1 billion. If that even happens, then maybe IBR could fill the remaining gap by scrounging up a bit more from tolls. Don't forget, those are coming. Or the state legislatures. There are just too many unknowns at this point, though, to say for sure. But the picture thus far of the project is far from pretty. The official cost estimate from the IBR team is now expected sometime in March.